and welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks. It's the most detailed forecast video you're going to find anywhere for the Mahoning and Shenango valleys and throughout eastern Ohio and western PA. And oftentimes in this video, we expand our scope and talk about national weather stories and general science stories. Sometimes we talk about some astronomy. Sometimes we have to talk about geology. We had a couple of earthquakes up along the Lake Erie shoreline earlier on this week. But tonight we're going to focus, of course, on the weather. It is active, although this is a pretty minor little winter weather event that we're dealing with tonight. I'll show you the radar and everything else in just a moment, but let's look at the numbers. It was a colder than expected day today. In fact, our high of 22, the coldest high temperature we've had in about 11 months. It's been since the first half of February of last year since we've had a day that did not get above 22 degrees. 22 is the best we could do today, and 16 was the low this morning. Now, 2014 is kind of laughing at us. We were in the middle of a pretty harsh stretch back in the winter of 2013, 2014, including on today's date when we had a record low of 11 below zero. Of course, it's been a very slow start to the season when it comes to snowfall, thanks to all the warm weather we had in December. Now, through today's date, the average snowfall for the Youngstown-Warren Airport is about 24 inches. We were ahead of schedule at this time last year. We had 33 inches through today's date last year, but a piddling 11.2, that is it. And in a lot of places, especially south of where the airport is into Mahoning, and especially down into Columbiana County, you've seen a fraction of that total, a couple of inches at most, once you're far enough to the south so far this winter. So it's been a very ho-hum winter in the snow department thus far. That's changing a little bit tonight, but it's interesting to put things in perspective. We've had 11 inches of snow at the airport for the season so far. Buffalo, New York, just in the last 24 hours, has had more than that. This is even an old observation, 15 inches a few hours ago at the Buffalo Airport in western New York, and the snow is still ongoing up there, and no surprise, lake effect snow warnings are still out for parts of southwestern New York. Actually, some winter weather advisories were hoisted by the Cleveland National Weather Service office today to catch the main snow belt of northeast Ohio. So eastern Cuyahoga County, Lake Geauga, Ashtabula County, Crawford County, PA, Erie County, PA, I should say, added to that winter weather advisory, because while the lake effect thus far has been aimed at western New York, some of these bands are going to start sneaking down the lake and can make for a tricky, ugly morning commute along the lakeshore coming up on Friday. Right now, though, it's not the lake effect that's the story across the region. It is the light snow that is ongoing. Our radar will catch up in a minute here and paint all the blue instead of the green. This is not rain, of course. It is snow. And it's all pretty light. We're just getting brushed or grazed. Everything's going pretty much according to plan thus far. With just us being on the northern fringes of this, we're not going to see anything all that heavy over the next few hours. And already the snow, what occurred, has already pretty much tapered off for the night in some of our northern and western areas. So if you're watching us from north of 224, and especially north of 80 into Trumbull County, the show's pretty much over for the night. Little candy coatings, maybe, in some spots. That was about it. For the most part, for the rest of the night, you will be snow-free in places like Warren and Southington, and heading up towards Cortland, Kinsman, Greenville, places like that. Farther south you are, the longer this is going to last through the evening, but even in those places, it's not going to be an all-night affair. This is across from Southern Park Mall along 224 in the Boardman area. You can see the parking lot is relatively snow-covered, although, you know, it's just a dusting or maybe a quarter of an inch or so in a lot of this area. The road conditions here along 224 look okay. Surely this has been treated a little bit, and the snow has already gotten a little bit lighter over the last half an hour than it was an hour or so ago. Down the road, down into Columbiana County, in Columbiana proper, where the Christmas tree is going to be up, I guess, for a few more weeks because they're shooting a film in this area, so it's going to look festive well into the winter season down here along the traffic circle. You can see the snow that's falling is light. If you look carefully down here in the lamp, in the vicinity of the street lamp, you can see snow is falling, but it's pretty light. Nonetheless, even though this is all light, you have to be careful because every flake of this can stick on untreated surfaces with, as cold as it is, air temperatures and road temperatures as well. The most recent road sensor observations here along the 11 and 267 interchange near Glenmore, southeastern Columbiana County. It's a little bit of freezing. The 7-Eleven connector in the Youngstown area, 27.5. That typically is a trouble spot in winter weather because it's largely a bridge and it tends to freeze up much faster than some of the surrounding areas, so you got to be careful there. And even some of the more major highways and interstates, seeing some pretty cold surface temperatures at this hour. So The side streets and the residential streets are likely even a little bit colder than some of these readings, so you just have to be careful as we head through the next few hours. If your travels do take you throughout the region, especially south and east of Youngstown through, say, 10 or 11 o'clock, might just have to watch for some candy coatings of snow, half an inch or so. Still can't be ruled out once you're closer to East Liverpool and over towards Elwood City, southern Lawrence County, and certainly once you get closer to Pittsburgh, your chances of seeing more than an inch increase, maybe even 2 inches or so, once you get down towards the Steel City. What about the lake effect tomorrow? The lake effect all night tonight will be pretty much aimed at the primary snowbelt, Lake Geauga, Ashtabula, but as the flow becomes a little more northwesterly tomorrow in the morning hours, some of these bands are going to start wiggling down farther to the south. So these might get down to the Route 87 corridor in northern Trumbull County, Greenville, PA, Sandy Lake, kind of that northern tier of Mercer. Watch out for these fingers of lake effect snow, and if your travels tomorrow for some reason do take you up closer to Erie, closer to Meadville, places like that, the conditions will get a little bit trickier the farther north and northeast you go. The lake effect machine will persist into the afternoon, although it'll start to wind down across our viewing area as we go through the afternoon, and then we're left with a cold night tomorrow night as the sky clears out. I'm not going to be surprised if we have some backyard thermometers registering single digits for one of the first times this season tomorrow night into Saturday morning, especially in areas that might have a little bit of snow on the ground. With calm winds and a clear sky, it's going to be coldest night of the season so far tomorrow night. But then despite the frigid start with high pressure in control, this is a nice looking Saturday. We'll actually get above freezing in the afternoon, making our way into the middle 30s. Warm front heads our way then Saturday night. Now, as precipitation arrives around 1, 2, 3 a.m., temperatures may be close to freezing. We might technically have a little mixed precipitation or freezing rain briefly at the onset. Don't think that'll be high impact at all. This is just going to be plain old rain for a lot of the day on Sunday as another pretty strong cold front inches our way. Behind that cold front, an air mass kind of very similar to the one we have overhead right now. So we'll be a good 12 or 13 degrees cooler than average for daytime highs, both Monday and Tuesday. Looks like we'll have a moderating trend then starting Wednesday, lasting a few days before a little bit of a shot of colder air should arrive by next weekend. Beyond next weekend, once we get towards the 18th, 19th, 20th of the month, I think it's going to be colder again. I think the cold's going to come in waves, but it's going to keep coming at times through probably the 25th or so of January. I do think that the pattern might try to revert back to kind of a similar pattern that we had in December at the very end of January and into February, meaning the cold gets recentered out west, and it won't be that cold in the east. That's the way it looks right now. Any long-range forecast, things can, of course, be subject to change, but I'm not going to be surprised if we see the pattern revert back to that kind of milder look for us at the very end of January and heading into the month of February. That's it for me tonight. Thanks for watching tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Stay safe out there tonight. I'll see you right back here same time, same place on Friday.